wrestling fans, welcome to issue number 52 of Cassette Wrestling News and Action-Packed 60 Minutes. I am Jeff Osborne.
And hey, I'm John Seaton, back in action, back on the show. God, it's good to be back, Jeff. Let's talk about some wrestling now.
All right, there was a topic you wanted to discuss, Bobo Brazil and the Sheik going at it once again, John. How about it?
Well, Jeff, it's hard to believe that Bobo Brazil, who is 62 years old, taking on the Sheik, who is 64. They took each other on in Detroit. These men, they started feuding back in the 50s. They went into the 60s. They went into the 70s, the 80s, and 90s. And I wouldn't be surprised they feud to the fucking year 2000, Jeff.
Let's watch the language there, John. Now, this sounds like a Joe Goodhart type of match. Recently, Joe Goodhart promoted a match with the original Sheik taking on Abdullah the Butcher, in which Evan Ginsberg was at ringside and was totally excited. And I've been informed that the Sheik will be taking on Abdullah once again at Joe Goodhart's card, as well as another Eddie Gilbert Cactus Jack match, this time surrounded in barbed wire, John.
I'll tell you what, Jeff, these old-timers are wrestling again. It's rumored that the feud between Bobo Brazil and the Sheik started when Bobo hid the dentures of the Sheik and also took his depend diaper and hid it from him. He went into the ring wet. And I tell you, this feud has started again. I can't wait to see it.
Whatever you say, John. Anyway, I've also been informed that Eddie Gilbert will be taking on Terry Funk in a match up there on the East Coast. So if anyone out there gets a chance to see that, please drop us a line.
Jeff. I want to know what the hell's the matter with Eddie Gilbert. Why is he a face? Why?
I don't know, John. You have to ask him that. I don't know. It seems he's getting over as a face. You heard the other night they were chanting Eddie, Eddie, and I think it's going to work. However, him in the opening part of the card just doesn't thrill me too much, as well as some of the other guys. Well, while we're on the subject, let's just go over this card that took place here in Evansville, Indiana, and I believe what was April the 3rd, and it was one of the best shows I've seen in a while since the. Still didn't top the one where Eddie Gilbert turned, John. I wish you were here to see that. Anyway, you want to go over the results of this? I know you're dying to talk about this card, John.
Yeah, right, Paul. Opening match, Jeff. The Hangman #1. I can't remember if it was Psycho or Killer. I don't really give a shit. Anyway, Billy Joe Travis was scheduled to take on the Hangman #1. Billy Joe did not show, and I don't know why, but instead the man, Dan the Man Davis, took on the Hangman #1. Went to a nice draw. Danny Davis is one of the nicest individuals I've ever talked to. I got to meet the man. It was a real pleasure. Danny Davis, if you're listening to, take my hats off to you. You're one of the greatest wrestlers I've ever seen in my life. And one of those Nightmare on Speed pictures. Anyway, they went to a draw. Second match, Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert took on Hangman #2 in a match that can only be characterized as, okay. A confusing finish to this one, Jeff. Hangman #2 was just about to be pinned by Gilbert, but the other Hangman interfered, and somehow Eddie was pinned, and it was kind of confusing, but then the Hangman pinned Eddie. By the way, Frank Morrell was refereeing. Anyway.
It was a strange outcome. It didn't, then after, they awarded the match to the Hangman, which they did the old switcheroo job kind of thing, and this was a solid match. Even the Hangman was doing quite a bit of wrestling moves, and during intermission, referee Paul Neighbors came back on and said that Eddie Marlin reversed the decision and awarded the match to Eddie Gilbert. All right, let's go to this next match. I hope I don't start saying this all right stuff again, John.
All right, damn it. Next match was a glove on a pole. Superstar Bill Dundee taking on Stunning Steve Austin. I enjoyed this match. Steve Austin actually made Bill Dundee put up some resemblance of a wrestling match.
John.
By the way, do you know Bill's going to take on the Sheik next week? Anyway, Stunning Steve Austin looked impressive. I've never seen the man live, but I'm glad I got to see him live because Stunning Steve Austin, he did the job for Dundee, but, well, in a match that I think Stunning Steve should have won, but since it's Bill's promotion, Stunning Steve lost.
I was impressed with that match, John. As you said, Bill wrestled, and he wrestled hard, and he took some pretty good falls off the top rope and everything, and I liked it. It was good.
All right, the next match was a Southern title. Simply Irresistible Jeff Jarrett, who I refer to as Sockcross Jeff Jarrett, taking on Dr. Tom Pritchard Piper. Anyway, it was Jeff Jarrett and Tom Pritchard. This match was one of the best on the cards as far as pure wrestling goes. Jeff Jarrett actually did quite a few moves, as well as did Tom Pritchard. Tom Pritchard was the hardest worker of the night, and he gets Wrestler of the Night.
The Wrestler of the Night, CWN's Wrestler of the Night, Dr. Tom Pritchard. I was impressed with both of the men. Pritchard was flying everywhere, a backdrop about 20 feet high, and it was one of the most solid matches on the card. How about the next match, John?
All right, the main event was Fabulous One Steve Kerr returning to Evansville as a single, taking on flamboyant Eric Embry. Juice galore, Jeff, juice galore. Eric Embry bled like a stuck pig. And by the way, aren't you Buddy Rose's little brother? Anyway, he took on Steve Kern, and this match was a slugfest. Other wrestlers became involved in this melee. It was Jeff Jarrett was involved, Dr. Tom Pritchard, the Hangman, Bill Dundee was involved. This match was a brawl from start to finish. Like I said, Eric Embry juiced quite a bit, and Steve Kern was at the top of his game as far as brawling goes. I remember some of the matches he and Lane had against the Moondogs. This was reminiscent of it. As a matter of fact, Eric Embry kind of looks like Moondog Spock with that pot belly of his. But anyway, they were brawling all over the place. Steve Kern was throwing fans aside. It was wild. Steve Kern ran Eric Embry's head into the wall. And I tell you, I got a boner watching this match, Jeff. I got to tell you.
John, come on there. I want to talk about Steve Austin's Mr. Perfect style bumps there. We'll talk about Mr. Perfect in a minute, but Steve Austin took some excellent bumps, and I'll tell you, everyone on this card deserves a big thumbs up, so if anyone out there is listening to this in the USWA, and I know a few of you are, hey, we salute you for this night. John's first night back, and I think you enjoyed it, John.
Yes, I did immensely. This card, it was a pretty good card, and I got to meet Danny Davis, and I'm a great admirer of Danny Davis, by the way, one of the greatest guys going today. He's been in the business a long, long time. He really cares about the sport, and he gives 100% every time he gets into the ring. And every wrestler on here, I hate to say it, even Dundee, they put up a good show. And
hey, Dundee was one of your favorite wrestlers, John.
I was a kid at the time, okay? I was young. I didn't know what I was talking about.
This was a year and a half ago.
So?
Okay, all in all, one of the best cards in the past couple of months. But I want to talk about WrestleMania here. I kind of liked it. I got to be honest. I kind of liked it. However, the main event, it was a sight to see the Hulkster bleed once again. However, I don't know how some of the children or some of the parents reacted to that.
Hey! Bleeding is a part of wrestling, Jeff. You better get used to it. I'm tired of you complaining and moaning about juice. Hey, it's part of wrestling, Jeff. I'm back. We're going to set things straight.
I know that, John, but we're talking WWF here. We're talking the cartoon land. I don't know. Let's lay off of it. All right.
Well, maybe it was ketchup. You don't know.
Yeah, right. What were you saying? You were talking to me about the ending angle the other day when Sergeant Slaughter threw the fire on Hogan. What did you think about that angle? I thought it was all right. Will it draw?
Jeff, when I saw it, I laughed. It was one of the worst angles I've ever seen in my life. It was one of the worst angles I've ever seen in my life. Sergeant Slaughter was convincing, but the sight of Hulk Hogan walking down the corridor with Mean Gene, the bald-headed motherfucker, Hogan,
yeah,
Hogan was like, "Ah-sha-sha, I won the title for America, ah-sha-sha." And he walks down the corridor. He opens up his dressing room door, and there's Adnan Al-Casey and Bob Remus. And they throw fire in the Hulkster's face. It was a good fireball, mind you, but it missed him by a mile. And Hulk Hogan badly overreacted. Okerlund practically went in shock. I thought somebody had to administer CPR on the bald-headed geek. Anyway, he collapsed, leaning against the wall like it was a crime or something. And the sergeant put the boots in the chair to the Hogan, and Hogan was supposedly badly burned. All in all, and Hogan wasn't, for an actor, Hogan is supposedly being an actor. By the way, I don't want to see his movie Suburban Commando. Anyway, he was supposed to be hurt. He was like, I'm burned, my face. Give me a break, Jeff. Damn.
I don't know. Now, I did, about a month and a half or so ago, back in March, I did attend a WWF card, and it was terrible. It was a shame. 10,000 people here at Roberts Stadium right here in Evansville. And the best thing on the card was Kurt Hennig, his bumps, but he gets sort of repetitive on a lot of that stuff. And he got his tights pulled down for about 15 seconds, and the place, I tell you, it erupted in laughter. He was a top performer on the card, and the next best matchup would have to be Rick Martel and Jake Roberts. I tell you, Jake Roberts, He doesn't have to be big. He doesn't have to have the big arms or anything. He has raw ability. And when the place started chanting DDT, it brought a feeling in my heart, John. And when he slapped on the DDT...
Did you get a boner, Jeff?
And when he slapped on the DDT and about 1,000 flash cubes went off in there, it was the most beautiful sight I've ever seen. And he got the biggest pop of the night, bigger than the Warrior. And by the way, the main event was Slaughter and Warrior in a cage. And these two men were wrestling like two turtles. And
Teenage Mutant Ninja?
I don't think so, John. It was terrible. It's a shame that 10,000 people show up to see this.
I know what you mean, Jeff. They come to see this kind of crap, and they could go to Evansville Coliseum, see some actual wrestling, see a top athlete like Danny Davis, a top athlete like Dr. Tom Pritchard. Instead, what do? They go to Robert Stadium and see a bunch of city wrestling. Why?
Yes, folks, he is back. Anyway, like I said, the only performers on the card that showed any enthusiasm would have to be Kurt Hennig, the Nasty Boys, and Jake the Snake Robertson Martel. Even the Road Warriors were slow.
Well, Jeff, why can you blame the Road Warriors? They went to WWF. They were promised title shots. What do? They get bogged down in a feud with Demolition that doesn't lead them anywhere. These men should be the WWF Tag Team Champions, not the Nasty Boys. Knobs and Sags could not wipe the spit off of the Road Warriors' boots, and I know that, and you know that. Why in the hell are they the champions? Why did they get the match against them?
Well,
Why?
John,
Wouldn't you rather see the Road Warriors beat the Hart Foundation? Why were the Nasty Boys at WrestleMania wrestling the Hart Foundation? Why?
John, take it easy. I've heard the Warriors are going to get the belts.
Really?
Yeah. All right, and, speaking of WrestleMania, Savage and the Warrior actually had a fairly decent match, and I was noticing as they were going through the replay of how the feud all started, they were signing a contract. Did anyone get a close-up of that contract? It was
very observant.
Yeah, that's right, John. It was a Wrestling Observer they were signing for the contract. Pretty strange. Anyway, speaking of WrestleMania, let's go to Vince DePalma with his rundown and his critique of the card.
Oh, great.
Hello once again, wrestling fans. This is Vicious Vince with my wrestling commentary. WrestleMania 7, held at the Los Angeles Sports Arena before 15,500 boisterous fans on Sunday, March 24th, was not the best WrestleMania of all time. I think that belongs to WrestleMania 3 at the Pontiac Silverdome. But it was not the worst one either. It probably lies somewhere in the middle. What made the card so much better was the crowd, which was so upbeat throughout the entire show. Best match of the show was the so-called retirement match between Randy Savage and the Ultimate Warrior. Savage carried the Warrior to the match of his life. The big surprise came at the end of the match when Sensational Sherry became angry at Savage for losing to the Warrior and began kicking him. But lo and behold, who came running into the ring to rescue the Macho King? None other than the lovely Elizabeth. Elizabeth could take Sherry's actions no longer. She threw Sherry out of the ring, and Randy and Liz patched up their differences. Randy will take a few months off and return to action in the summer, with something being written into the storyline about how Savage would be allowed to return. The Hulk Hogan Sergeant Slaughter match was pretty good, I thought. Maybe I'm being generous, but I gave this match 3 stars. I thought it was on a par with the Hogan Ultimate Warrior match in WrestleMania 6. Let's face it, for two guys like this, one aging and almost over the hill, and the other not the greatest technical wrestler in the world, the two tried hard and worked a good match. In fact, Hogan was trying some moves he never tried before, and the Sarge took some good bumps. In fact, I thought Hulk was trying to work the way he did in his Tokyo Dome match against Stan Hansen a year ago, non-WWF style. For those of you who taped the show, look closely right after the chair hit over the head by the Sarge. As Hulk is rolling back into the ring, he quickly blades himself, and his face becomes a geyser. I just wish Titan would book a better finish than the Superman comeback boot to the face and pinfall. But of course, the bottom line is that Titan gives the people what they want and sends them home happy. By the way, the real reason WrestleMania 7 was moved to the LA Sports Arena from the LA Coliseum Less than 12,000 tickets were sold at the Coliseum. All in all, I gave the show a 6. By the way, what happened to Ricky Steamboat? He was supposed to make an appearance and never did. The rumored match for WrestleMania 8, Hulk versus Sid Vicious. That's right, Sid Vicious. Sid wants a reported $375,000 a year to stay in WCW, and the Turner people probably won't pay him that. By the way, folks, I just got finished listening to John Arezzi's Pro Wrestling Spotlight, heard every Sunday morning on WBAB AM, 1240 on the AM dial. Heard each and every Sunday morning from 10 a.m. to 12 noon. And John reported on his show this morning that the WWF contract will be coming up soon with Madison Square Garden. And as you know, right now, the WWF has an exclusive contract with the Garden, and no other promotion can get in there. But the rumor mill has it that when the WWF contract expires with the Garden, that the Garden will allow any and all other wrestling promotions in the Garden to have a show there. And that's great news, because we here in the New York metropolitan area would love to have WCW, as well as any other wrestling promotion, get into the Garden. We're tired of seeing the WWF all the time in the Garden, and not any other wrestling promotion. But now that the contract that the WWF has will soon be over, the rumor mill has it that all other wrestling promotions will be considered to put on a show in the Garden. So that's great news. You know, the WWF pretty much has a lock on the New York area, and has for at least the past 20 years. So this is great news. Not that I don't enjoy seeing the WWF around, but I'd like to see some other promotions get a chance of getting into the Garden. That would be kind of nice. Now, I have a question this week. My question of the week for all of you Cassette Wrestling News listeners. Do you feel that the WWF will remain as the number one promotion in North America for at least the next 5 years? And if not, what promotion do you see replacing it? All right, till next time, this is Vicious Vince saying goodbye and good wrestling.
Okay, interesting question, John. Who do you feel, or what organization do you feel will remain for the next 5 years, if any?
I'm glad you rephrased the question for me, because Vinny was talking and I wasn't listening as usual, because Vinny is boring. But anyway, the question was, who do I feel will replace, if any, the WWF as a top promotion within the next 5 years? Right? Am I wrong? Am I in saying this?
That's right, John.
Well, all right, damn it. All right. As far as attendance records and viewership, I think the WWF will remain number one, simply due to the fact that Vince McMahon has wads of money, whereas the NWA is not putting Ted Turner's not putting the money that he should put into the NWA. So I say, even within the next 5 years, if wrestling is not completely dead by then, WWF will remain number one due to the fact that it has money, it can get the big stars, and it's got the cartoonish atmosphere that draws the little brats into the fucking arenas.
John, watch the language there, all right?
I don't have to. Ever since I've been back, Jeff, you've been on my butt. Why?
Why? Because we had complaints last time you were on here, saying the F word and everything. I don't mind you.
Do they have to subscribe? If they don't like it, they can turn it down, can't they? Do they have to listen? No! No, they don't, do they, Jeff?
John, settle down, please. John Arezzi recently celebrated his 100th show. On that show, he had none other than a man who you claim impersonates you, John, Terry Funk, and Jim Cornette, as well as Cactus Jack and Kevin Sullivan. I want to play a piece right now. I was in a bad mood during this day, but I heard this. Cactus Jack talking about hawking up spit. Let's go to that piece right now.
They used used to tell me when I was in the NWA, the Cactus, you're spitting on people. We've had complaints that you are spitting on people. And I tried to explain I wasn't spitting on people. I was spitting in the air, and the saliva never went anywhere but back to the original source. Never was anybody splashed by a Cactus Jack Luger. But times have changed, Bob Smith. Times have changed, John and Kevin. You know yourself that you're on that line. The times, they were a-changing. And Cactus Jack has changed his state of mind.
Yes, indeed.
Because if I could, John, if I could spare the spit, I'd walk it up and down the steps, the Atlanta Omni, and lay a gooey one on all of them, because that's what they deserve. That's what they deserve.
And I know that when you go to Japan, you're going to hurt a lot of people. And you can spit on them all that you want over there. Because Cactus Jack in Asia is recognized for the star he is. In fact, people are probably lining the streets for your Louis. They have their hands out, waiting for Cactus Jack's Louis. You'll be received the way you should be. In Asia, they know you, Cactus Jack. They understand that you are a leader. They understand you're a prophet. So when they put out their hands, make sure you have enough Louis to go around.
The always unpredictable Cactus Jack with Kevin Sullivan on the line. John, I don't know what to think about this guy. I know he's a listener. I want him on Cassette Wrestling News. How about you, John? What do you think?
Well, I think Cactus Jack is a tremendous piece of talent, although the man is psychotic, schizoid, and, just plain out fucking crazy. But otherwise, I think he'd be a great addition for the USWA. Was I wrong while I was in Air Force, where I served my country greatly, that he was supposed to be coming to the USWA, but the idea was nixed?
Yeah, the rumor I had asked Lawler about it, and Lawler said he didn't care where Cactus Jack was, and he just plain out didn't care. But WCW getting rid of Cactus Jack was one of the biggest mistakes ever, and that's all I got to say on Cactus Jack.
Well, I have a thing or two to say about Cactus Jack. I think the man he's traveling the independent circuit now. He's going to Japan. The man he's basically going to fucking kill himself one of these days. He's doing these bumps that he's taking, these elbows off the top rope, these crazy Looney Tune bumps that he's taking. I think the man will find. Is it? I've heard he's getting a hip replacement. Is that right?
Yeah, something like that. I think he is.
Yeah. Well, anyway, Jeff, I'm surprised you're still in the air. You're so damn boring. How did you survive while I was gone?
Don't ask me, but speaking of Looney Tunes right there, I think I have finally figured out Cactus Jack's secret identity. I've been watching some cartoons lately.
His name's Mike Foley.
No, not that one. I think he's Wile E. Coyote. I've seen Wile E. Coyote's bumps, and they are somewhat comparable to Cactus Jack's. Oh, well.
You're fucking crazy. Cactus Jack
What's your language?
Cactus Jack takes better bumps and more risky bumps.
Okay. Now let's talk about Sid Vicious here. The man is wanting an excess of over $300,000 a year. I'd tell him to go to hell, go to Titanland. I wouldn't pay this guy. This guy hurts people. He's clumsy. So what if he's big? Who cares? Maybe Vince DePalma is right in his commentary that WrestleMania 7 will be Hulk Hogan and Sid Vicious.
Well, Jeff, I believe I concur with that. Sid Vicious can't wrestle worth squat. The man doesn't belong in the NWA. All he's doing is powerbombing these wrestlers and hurting them. He's making a mockery of the NWA. He doesn't belong in the NWA. He's really accomplished nothing in the NWA. Luger's beat him. Sting's beat him. He's just part of the Horsemen. If Danny Spivey and Sid Vicious reform the Skyscrapers, I say, yes, stay in the NWA because they are a great team. But otherwise than that, I'd say, hell, go to the WWF. You fit in right there. You just be some stupid gimmick. What are they going to call this guy? What's his gimmick going to be in the WWF?
I have no idea, John, and I can't say I really care because, when you get a man like Sid Vicious in there and he hurts some of the other workers, possibly under the undercard, most recently Brian Pillman, why do you want somebody that's going to destroy your product? He's like a time bomb. He's eventually going to really hurt somebody and put them out for good. And
well, Jeff, I think the reason he's still in the NWA, even though he's hurting all his wrestlers, is because of his relationship with Jim Herd. I think he has a relationship with Jim Herd similar.
Let's keep it clean, John.
Similar to the relationship that Hulk Hogan has with Vince McMahon. They both suck.
Okay, whatever you say there. It always the rumor it always had that Sid Vicious had a reputation of being sort of close with Jim Herd, and that Sid Vicious was Jim Herd's big prized possession. But I don't know. I'm going to end it on that. Any closing comment on Sid Vicious?
No.
All right, let's go to Joe Massinio from Australia. I understand he has the scoop of the century.
Yes, people, the greatest scoop. The Observer didn't get it, Riot didn't get it, Torch didn't get it, Matwatch didn't get it, but Cassette Wrestling News has got it. We will be speaking to Dusty Rhodes, the American Dream, Virgil Riley Runnels Jr. himself. Let's go to the phone.
All right, I'm dialing the number here, folks. All right, the phone seems to be ringing.
Good afternoon, WCW. Mr. Runnels' secretary speaking. How may I help you?
Could I speak to Mr. Runnels, please?
No, I'm sorry, sir. He's out delivering pizzas at the moment.
Right.
Would you like to leave a message?
Yes, if I could.
Okay, may I have your name, your address, and your telephone number, please?
My name is David Meltzer,
Would you be kind enough to spell the surname, please?
Meltzer,
Right, and your address?
14 Afghanistan Street, Lithuaniaville, California.
And the phone number?
777 6969.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. I'll pass the message on to Mr. Runnels.
Actually, I was wondering, could you answer a few questions for me?
Well, I'm not really at liberty to say anything, sir, but if it's
come
off
on.
the record, it should be okay.
Yeah, I promise it's off the record. A question I've always wanted to know. What's he like to work with? I mean, he's such a god and a legend and a hero to us all.
Oh, sir, it's absolutely great. But I have to listen to him constantly singing, "It's got to be me." It's painful.
Well, basically, what are his plans for the future?
What, for World Championship Wrestling?
Absolutely.
Well, actually, sir, just a few minutes ago I saw the booking sheets. Just a moment, I'll see if I can find them.
All right, folks, we're going to get some insiders here.
Yes, sir, I have the booking sheets right here. Right through to Clash of the Champions 786, and all the pay-per-views in between. But unfortunately, they're incomplete. I only have one match listed for each card, and that's Dusty Rhodes versus Ric Flair. Oh, wait a minute, there's a very small note at the bottom of each page. And the bottom line is, I'm going to beat the man and be the man.
How fascinating.
Right.
Basically, who is he bringing in? New talent and people like that?
Oh, yes, there's 3 new guys coming in. The first being BT Express, because Mr. Runnels wants somebody with the same physique. The splotch will be surgically added later. Secondly, we have the New Jersey Devil, because Mr. Runnels wants someone who is definitely smarter than. And thirdly, we have Ron Whitmer, because he wants someone he can be better looking than.
Right. Steve Beverly alluded to that Dusty's putting more effort into his other businesses like pizzas and plumbing and meat.
Oh,
this
no,
true?
sir, that's definitely not true. He has assigned other certain people to those tasks.
Who are they?
Well, with the plumbing, it's George South. That's so he can cut the shit from both ends. And the pizza, Dusty and Jim Hurd do that route themselves because they like the tips. And with the meat, it's El Gigante, so he can practice his wrestling on a side of beef. Oh, excuse me, sir, but Mr. Runnels has just come into the office. Do you want to speak to him now?
No, don't worry about it. I think we've heard enough.
Oh, okay then. Thank you very much for your call.
Goodbye.
No.
Well, I couldn't say I was Jeff from Australia, could I? Well, there you go, folks. I've scooped the world. Now, what do you think of that one, Jeff?
Oh, yeah, turn the fucking tape over to the other side.